Good morning, everyone. Happy February. I am here with my good friend, Carl Shawn Watkins, and we are going to be talking about all things inspirational and aspirational today. So welcome to episode 1 of my February series, which is Stories That Inspire. So we'll be featuring some guests who have some great inspiring stories from their life to share with us, as well as just talking about things that inspire us, things that we love. And of course, would love to hear from you all in the comments. What inspires you? What do you love? And yeah, feel free to chime in and join the conversation. But good morning, Carl. How are you?
Good morning, Jennifer. How are you? I'm doing good.
I'm doing great. It is Tuesday. I am well. I am not sick. I can't complain, right?
That's it. You got all the good things above, so you can't complain.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for being here today, Carl.
No pleasure.
I figured we would start off talking a little bit about you and your story, because I know you have a very interesting and aspirational story as well. So actually, lots of bits and pieces of your story that I've heard. So feel free to share whichever one you think would, benefit people the most, whether it's your growth on LinkedIn or something more personal. Would love to just start with that.
Good. Well, I have a lot of bits of story. I decided to kind of like share my story after some pushes out the nest, so to speak, from some of my friends, such as you, Shara, Junie, just to mention a few of you guys I've been knowing the longest and been communicating with the longest on LinkedIn, Sinead as well. And just decided to pivot. I know everyone is doing on LinkedIn, and it's very much appropriate. Don't get me wrong, not at all. And I do glean a lot from it, but everybody's doing the job focus, career focus, those kind of things. And this is really what people are really looking for and needing. But I thought that what I could bring to the table, not that I can't do that, because I've been working for like 30 something years in leadership for 20 plus, in finance, in management and leadership, now pivoting into law. So my career-wise has been good, and it's been to a place where I can offer that expertise as well. But I also thought that maybe I can go inside a little bit with me delving into law schools and some of the things they require and some of the things they look at. They look for personality and stories and why you will be a good attorney and those kind of things. And we don't look at that when we go into most job fields. We look at, I can do that, or I'm great at this, or I'm great at that. I know they'll take me, but law is a little different, and they want to see what kind of individual you really are, if you got what it takes, so to say. The juice, as my advisor tells me, the juice, if you got the juice to do it. And when I start thinking about that, and I say, oh, you know what? I've been through a lot of things. And I said, well, what I could do is kind of package that in pieces. And then I just started going through just with the inspiration first. I think I wrote, I finally asked everybody, had always asked me about the Daily Word series and how did I come up with that? So I wrote that article, given the history of that and how that came about. And once I got that and the feedback from that, I said, okay, now it's time to pivot. So now I can start to share some of those personal things that has given me power, because vulnerability is power. Once the skeleton's out the closet and hanging out with you, no one can pull them out. They can't come back later and harm you. So I say, oh man, what power do I have if I just talk about some of the things that I've been through and I've overcome and where I am now? And that gives inspiration. That's in turns is my inspiration, because you're not inspiring until someone tells you. I don't care how much you write. I don't care how much you do. I don't care how much you feel like you've done all of your feel good stories. You're not inspiring until somebody tells you you are, and then you are inspiration. So it's not like you can self-proclaim that. But this is some of the things that I decided to just share on that level and just be vulnerable. I have not decided to interview my buddy Michael Paterano a few days ago, and I had not decided to go as deep as he is, and that's his thing, and that's his plateau. But I just wanted to be with a little bit of continuity with you can be an abuse survivor, you can be a just as you got cancer. There's people that's doing great things, and they were abused as kids, and now they're living as adults, and they're not really talking about those things. They don't have avenues, or they're shame, or the stigma of, somebody knows that about you. So I just want to be a kind of like a landing zone and have people comfortable with just talking about those things. No, I'm not a counselor. I didn't go to school for all that. My PhD is in experience. And, I
Right.
found out that a lot of time experience is the best teacher because I understand what you're talking about. I didn't read about it. I've lived
Right.
it as well. Yeah.
Right.
So,
Right. No, that's amazing. And I'd like to hear a little bit more because you touched on it about the daily word. For those people who don't know
mhm.
out there, where that started, and how they can use it to inspire them daily.
Yes, the Daily Word started. Just a quickness on the story of that. You guys listening, go and read the article. The Daily Word, the birth of the Daily Word is which I call the article, and it was just Christmas. I think it was like 5 or 6. I don't know, remember which year it was, but I was like a reader, a little scribbler. That's what I did as a kid. I was reading early. I think I was reading like I was 4. I was actually reading my Dr. Seuss books and those cat in the hats and all of that. And one Christmas, my dad we gathered around the tree, and my brother and sister, is 3 of us. So he got his fire truck, and my sister got her a little Barbie doll. And I was like, oh, wow, everybody got their gift. So it's my turn. Let me see what I got. So I opened my gift, and it was a dictionary. And don't get me wrong, I love books and I love getting those. But for some reason, around at Christmas time, like any kid that's 5 or 6 years old, you wanted something that was a little more exciting. And I didn't want to make my dad and him upset. I just always was like that kind of kid. So I just opened it, and, that jolly and everything. But my dad automatically knew in my confidence that it didn't hit me like he thought it would. So he told me to come sit up on the couch and sit on the couch with him. And he went to explain why he gave me that gift. He told me I was a special kid and he saw some special things in me. He said, you're a little different than your brother and sister. And he said, this is something I want to give you that we can share for Christmases past today. So I was excited. I was like, okay, my dad is giving me something. It could be me and him one-on-one. I could be the favorite son, that kind of thing. And he said, what we'll do is we'll go through the dictionary from A and we'll grab a word. We'll learn, we'll teach you how to spell it. We'll teach you how to define it. So you know what it means. And I'll help you use it in sentences. So I was like, oh man, a game with dad. That was great. So we started doing that and we finished it up in about a little less than a year. We actually finished the dictionary. Of course, some words are shorter than others. So some days I did 2 or 3 words because I was excited about the game. So, but what I didn't realize until he passed when I was 15 is that he was pouring into me something that has now been profound in my life. He taught me the ability to write. He improved my vocabulary. He gave me opportunity to understand things in a different light because sometimes you don't understand words until they're like given to you or until someone says it to you or you run across it in school or something. But by me reading the words, I had a lot of meanings of what words were before I even encompassed them in conversation. So when the kids would be cursing and stuff in the streets, I would be saying different things and I will understand what I'm saying, but I didn't have to use a curse word. So that was pretty much how that was born. And now it has become an inspiration. I do it as an ode to him, but I also do it as a inspiration to people because people see these words and they get their own definition. And what I've spent on it, I give you the definition of it so you understand, but I give it to you in a story of how it should feel to you or how it
Right.
feels to me to share with you. And a lot of people has been adding on to this, like, oh man, I never even looked at that word like that. And I don't go into the deep depths of words. I just use our everyday words, like celebrate, dedication, unity, humanity, just the things that we use in everyday conversation. And I just put different spins on them so
Right.
people can kind of get a look at it. Yeah.
No, I love that. I love that. Taking something arguably so simple and
Hmm.
expanding upon it and making it more and using it as a way to connect with people.
Yes.
That's amazing. So would you say then that your father is probably one of the most inspirational figures in your life, even now
I,
that you continue to look up to? Who else would you include in that
I,
line?
I probably would. I got to give a shout out to my buddy Mark Bentover. He's been working with me on my show and trying to do some things. If you guys have seen, I put out the little clip video that he's done for my intro, and he's kind of put my mentors. And of course, I didn't have anything of my dad speaking, but he kind of put in there Martin Luther King. Those are people that I kind of like. They were writers, and I envision a lot of their things, even looking at some of their speeches and reading some of their speeches in school. Barack Obama, even though he's the latter of that, even just the power that he's had with just using phrases and interviewing and those kind of things. And then a lot of people don't give credit to this, and I'm not this big rap junkie, but I mean, if you read some of the things that Tupac wrote about, and his mindset of things. Yeah, of course, he did all of, the dirty cursing and all that. We can't get away from that part of it. But I mean, some of the things that he written was kind of like profound in the way that he was talking, even to his generation, with some of the songs he wrote. So I look at all of them as a combination of the past, the present, and Tupac would be the future, because everybody is doing or writing in that genre now is grabbing his stuff and putting it in theirs. So I look at those kind of people as being the spark plugs of my inspiration. And my dad was definitely the one that gave me the understanding of, because he grew up we was in Chicago. He grew up around the Black Panthers, because so we was kind of like, I kind of like had that as a backdrop, of knowledge. So it just came natural from there.
Right, right. No, I love what you said about Tupac. Those filters, I'd say, a lot of times people can get stuck behind, the curse words and all that. But like, if you can really look at the message, I think oftentimes with music, the honesty, the raw, things that they're hitting upon, the subjects that to discuss, really can be inspirational sometimes and inspire us to do more, to be more. So no, I love that you brought that up, especially today, February, it is Black History Month. Love that.
It is
Black History all the time. I know this, but gotta say special shout out for February. So love that. I would say for me, one of my most inspirational people in my life, I feel cheesy saying it, and I know she's going to watch this later, is my mother.
No.
Yeah, she watches all my videos. She watches all my lives, even after the fact. So I know she'll see this, but she truly is one of the most inspirational people I've ever met. She raised 2 daughters by herself, put herself through nursing school while having 2 daughters and bartending on the side to make ends meet. And she's just the most selfless person I have ever met. And if I can be half the person she is, then, I will be an amazing person in my life. So it's great that you had that influence in your father. People need those influences in their lives for sure.
They do. And a lot of people don't realize that the influences come from home. And me having 2 adult children now, it was very important to me, not only as being a father, but being an African-American father, to be there, to be in their life, because statistically speaking, and we can't get away from that, because it is what it is. Like black male fathers just had this onus of just not being around. And I just wanted to make sure that they had me whenever they needed me, that, I was there and I was in their life, because my dad was in mine until he passed away. And the funny thing about that, you look at it, he passed away at 15. I was just going into adulthood. And I think when you look at it, it's like a lot of people say, well, at least you had your dad through those formative years, which I did, which he did formulate a lot of my thinking and my progress. But I looked at it in that I'm going into adult, like it's some adult things that I'm about to be facing. I really could use you now. That's how I looked at it. But that's how I want it to be for my kids. It's not cheesy at all to say that your mom, because that lets people know that know you, that she was a strong influence and you didn't look outward. I remember Charles Barkley had said a few years back, I'm not a role model, just because I play basketball, just because, I'm a black male, that doesn't make me a role model. And he was so true in saying that. The role model starts at home. Your parents are really your role models. And if they do a good job, you'll find out that the child will be a good child. Yeah.
Right.
I like that.
It's so important to have those influences around us to inspire us and really drive us to go to those places we want to go and achieve those crazy dreams and things we have our eyes on. So I would
Yeah.
love for you to tell everyone, Karl, a little bit about your inspirational LinkedIn journey, since we are casting on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Karl and I met a long time ago before he joined GA, and I would love if you would just share a little bit about how, growing on LinkedIn can be inspirational and how inspiring others is, really fun and exciting. So,
It is such an amazing trip. When we first started, when I first come, I can never forget our first. I think they call them discovery calls. And when me and you, now everybody's like doing these Zoom calls and getting to know. But I think when we were doing that, we were like in the infancy phase of people actually reaching out past the post, and it was so amazing in the conversations that we had and some of the things that we shared. And I look back on where we've come, even just watching your journey as well as my journey, and just like I would have never envisioned doing the things that I do now, or even putting out some of the things that I put out, because I was just such this private guy, and I just was like not suffering in silence, but just like, I'm good. I'm just going to keep it that way. I don't have to let anybody in unless I want them in. I don't have to, do those things. And I think with us growing it with, and I got to give, kudos to Sinead, because we had a lot of personal conversations and Zooms. And I was just like worried about a lot of things, especially going in law. You don't really want to open yourself to so much where people can attack. But I just come to find out that it is who I am. So if you attack it, then, it is what it is. But even our growth together, even before GA, we were growing and posting and doing things. And we were coming out of our shell. And I thank LinkedIn for that, even the pivot that they've taken. Because when I was on LinkedIn a long time ago, before then, I would go every now and then, but it was all job related. Like my CV was on there. And if I wanted to incorporate with someone that was in that field, I would like add them, or, put them in my network. It is nowhere near how it is now, where this has become a platform of professional, you still got some knuckleheads, professionals, but it's come to a level of, okay, what kind of professional you are. I'm not just looking at LinkedIn to see that you got 50 alphabets behind your name, or I want to know what kind of person you are. Are you the kind of person that I really want to interact with and connect with and do that? And I've seen it grown so much over the past, maybe about a little bit over a year now, to this full blown platform of where you and I could have shows. We can have live. We can interview people. I mean, I'm interviewing Ahmad in about an hour, and he's in the United Arab. I never could have went over there, or I didn't even know him.
right.
Before this, I didn't even know you. I mean, and we've gotten to know some, and some I've said, whenever this pandemic slacks up some, because I think it's just the effects of it is just going to be here with us for a while. But when we're able to travel, I say I got some personal meetings that I'm going to do to actually physically meet some of these great people that I've met on LinkedIn, and I just give LinkedIn a lot of praise in that, because they was very instrumental in growing us both, pushing us out there, making us do things. Like I would never have been a video. Sinead said, I told I made 45 takes on my first video on my video challenge. I discarded all of those takes, and the last one I said I got to put it on, and I posted instead of putting the video. I posted what I was going to say. She inboxed me. She said, I did not see the video. I mean, this is just what kind of lady this is. And I was like, I did 45 and it didn't work. So I did one more, and I said, this is going on, Carol. Look, I posted and I got like 300 or 400 views, and I never would have thought that. And that gave me the courage. That pushed it out. So since then, now I had her on the interview a couple of months ago, and she said, I couldn't get you to do a video. Now you got a show. Now you're on live. Now you're on other people's show.
It's incredible. No, it is incredible. You've come so far. And I think that it really also speaks to your authority on LinkedIn. When you're willing to put yourself out there, when you're willing to show people your thoughts, be more of a thought leader, be more open, honest, and vulnerable, you can be that inspiration for others. I started off on LinkedIn, same as Karl, sharing my story. And I didn't share my story with the intent of anyone being like, you inspire me. I shared my story because I wanted to connect with people. I shared my story because I believe in being open and honest and vulnerable. And I think that that's the best way to connect with others is you let your walls down, you show them who you are, and they're going to show that right back. And so it definitely was not something I expected. But in doing that, in letting those walls down and being myself on LinkedIn, I found that I have inspired so many people who, came from where I used to come from. For those of you watching who may not know my backstory, less than 2 years ago, I was bartending every night, till like 2 a.m. and like scraping to make ends meet. Things can change, your life can change. And so I encourage all of you who don't already put yourself out there on LinkedIn to put yourself out there on LinkedIn and share yourself with others, because you will inspire someone out there and make a difference in their life.
You will, and you'll see that it gives you power. The things that you're so fearful of, it's a couple of them that I'm still working on. I'm talking to Edward. Edward, I don't know. Edward kind of like fell back a little bit, but things happen in life, and we have to change direction and pivot. And Taurus, he was talking about putting himself out there as well. Sometimes you get fearful of those things because we're just as a humanity, as nature, we're just so skeptical of people. And but you find that, and I thought that I have more power now that it bounces off of me, the things and the negativeness that people feels. And when I put my stories out there, or I put down my content, or I put in my thing, I feel empowered by sharing that, because I've let myself be vulnerable. I let myself be hit a couple of times and gotten up. And once you get past that, like you say, you have people that's doing these or wanted to do these things, and now they're like, oh, yo, that's our story, that's his story, hey, that's my story, let me get out there and do what they're doing. And it's an easy thing to do. I'm not going to tell you that it's not fearful, because it is. I know for the longest it took me about good 3 or 4 months to actually commit to it, but once I did, I was like, wow, why did I waste those 3 or 4 months? I could have been like way up the road by now.
Right. And everyone's so positive on LinkedIn. The community is amazing, guys. It's not like other social media, like with everyone who gets catty or rude or whatnot. It really is so positive. And I don't think I've ever put something out there where people haven't just, flocked to share their love and support,
It is. It's been a powerful tool. And that's the reason why I said, people say, well, have you shifted to, I got all of those entities, but I don't use them as much. I probably use Instagram the most before LinkedIn, because I can just transfer a post from there to there. But I mean, Facebook, I have a Facebook account. I've had one about 10 years now, and I don't, it's not active like, like on LinkedIn. And it's not nothing that is against that, or I have anything against that. It's just that the community is just like, they're not looking for anything. I go on LinkedIn and someone likes it 9 out of 10, 9.5 really out of 10. You're going to get a response. You're not going to get criticism. You're not going to get like, oh, wow. If someone doesn't have anything to say, they like it, and they keep moving, it's just not that kind of thing. So it always builds encouragement, when you see that, and you might not, because I have some of mine don't have no comments, but they have like 600 views of what I said, or, 1,000 views or whatever, what I've said. And I'm like, wow, it's no comment, but hey, people are watching and they're lucky.
Right. The impact is there for sure. Sure. Well, looking ahead, I'd like to kind of start to wrap up and talk a little bit about what's inspiring you for this year, Karl. What inspires you about 2021, and what are you looking forward to?
It's inspiring me is to continue to I guess continue to put out what I've been putting out. I don't want to change. I really want to go, and when I say deeper, I don't mean just dive deeper. I just want to go deeper into some of the attributes and some of the things that I know I can do, and I want to put out and inspired. I've had a couple of offers from LinkedIn. I'm going to be writing articles, so you guys will be looking for a lot. I'm working with Selena Yeon, and we're going to be doing some things as well. Newsletter I got coming out. Looking for LinkedIn news to get back to me, because I have some things in the works with them. So on LinkedIn, you're going to see a lot more of my writing, a lot more of my influence on that level. So I continue to want to inspire on that. And I'm going to grow the shows, the 101 that I started. I want to make that a little 5-6 minute piece where I just be vulnerable live with people. I get a master class coming up that I'm working with Ellie. Red Cloud, so she's kind of like my digital person. So I got her on. I don't like to say staff. I just say people that help me. And she's got me an outline that I'm going to be doing a master class coming up. And Ask Me Anything coming up. I did those snippets of that that's coming. So those things are building up. So I got a few projects that I'm working on, and not to mention trying to pass this LSAT in 2 weeks.
Into existence, baby. You got this.
So I got a lot going on, but it is fun, and I'm having the most fun that I've had in my life in quite some time, and I'm just enjoying the ride right now. Really am.
I love that, Carl. That's amazing. I would echo your sentiments in that sense. I am, really looking forward to this year. I have a lot of things planned. Planning on launching a course, doing an AMA of my own pretty soon too. So really looking forward to that. So it has been 2020 was inspiring for so many reasons. I'd say so many people overcame so much adversity, so much heartache, so many hard times. And we are here, we are stronger, we are building a better year. And I really hope you guys put yourselves out there on LinkedIn and start sharing with others and inspiring them. It's one of the best things you can do.
It definitely is.
Yeah. So Carl, any last thoughts for our audience today on
just to say thanks everybody who's coming by. I love Jennifer as I do the LinkedIn community. And remember, I put a post out a little bit after the new year came in. 2021, it's your season. Claim it. Do that. The things that you didn't do in 2020, get on it in 2021.
Yes. Love it. Love it. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
Thank you. You too.